The Zephyrian High Council had exhausted every diplomatic option. Ambassador Marcus Chen of Earth had single-handedly derailed 3 trade negotiations, exposed 2 corruption scandals, and somehow convinced half the Galactic Senate that humans deserved equal representation, despite being the newest species to achieve FTL travel. The decision was unanimous: the human had to die. Kethvar was their answer to the human problem. Standing 9 feet tall with 4 arms, each ending in razor-sharp talons, the Zephyrian assassin had never failed a contract. His exoskeleton could deflect plasma bolts, his reflexes operated at superhuman speed, and his neural implants gave him tactical awareness that bordered on precognition. He had eliminated rebel leaders, corrupt politicians, and even a rogue AI that had threatened 3 star systems. One human diplomat should have been child's play. Kethvar materialized in Ambassador Chen's private quarters aboard Station Kepler 442 at 300 hours, when most humans were in their vulnerable sleep cycle. His cloaking device deactivated with a soft whisper of displaced air. The human lay motionless on his sleeping platform, back turned, seemingly oblivious to the predator now stalking toward him. "Human," Kethvar hissed, his voice carrying the authority of death itself. "Your interference ends now." Marcus Chen rolled over slowly, blinking sleep from his eyes. Instead of the terror Kethvar expected, the human's face broke into a grin that was somehow more unsettling than any scream. "Oh, fantastic." Chen sat up, fully alert despite having been asleep moments before. "You must be the Zephyrian they've been whispering about. I was wondering when someone would finally send a proper challenge my way." Kethvar's thermal sensors detected an unusual spike in the human's body temperature. Not fear, but excitement. "You mistake your situation, human. I am Kethvar, Blade of the High Council. I have come to execute you for crimes against the Zephyrian hegemony." "Execute? Oh, that's adorable." Chen stood, stretching casually. "But before we get to the boring stuff, how about we have a little fun? I haven't had a decent sparring partner since I left Earth." The assassin's tactical subroutine struggled to process this response. In his 3 decades of killing, no target had ever suggested a recreational combat scenario. "This is not a game, human. Prepare to die with dignity." "Dignity's overrated," Chen said, sliding into a combat stance that Kethvar's database immediately flagged as a hybrid of 17 different Terran martial arts. "Besides, where's the fun in just rolling over? My species didn't claw its way to the stars by giving up easily." Kethvar decided to end this quickly. His upper arm shot forward with lightning speed, talons aimed at the human's throat and heart simultaneously. In his mind, the fight was already over. Marcus Chen wasn't there. The human had somehow twisted between the strikes, using Kethvar's own momentum to spin around his extended arms. Before the assassin could react, Chen's elbow connected with a nerve cluster that his species' anatomy shouldn't have even been able to identify. Kethvar stumbled, his left arms going temporarily numb. "Impossible. Your species lacks the speed." "Speed?" Chen laughed, dodging a retaliatory swipe that would have decapitated a lesser being. "Who needs speed when you have pattern recognition? You guys always lead with the same combination. Very artistic, but predictable once you fought a few hundred of your kind." The assassin's world tilted. Hundreds? The Zephyrian military had encountered humans in actual combat perhaps a dozen times, and always in fleet actions where individual prowess was irrelevant. When had this human fought his people? Chen seemed to read his confusion. "Underground fighting circuits on Proxima Station. Your people make excellent practice partners. All that redundant anatomy means I can experiment with techniques that would kill most species." He ducked under another strike and somehow ended up behind. "Kethvar again. Though I have to admit, you're the first one they've sent who actually knew what he was doing." The fight continued for 17 minutes. 17 minutes where Kethvar, trained from birth to be the perfect killer, found himself systematically dismantled by a human who treated the entire affair like an enjoyable workout. Chen never tried to seriously harm him. Instead, he seemed genuinely interested in testing Kethvar's capabilities, pushing the assassin to use techniques he'd never employed in actual combat. When Kethvar activated his emergency combat stimulants, Chen clapped appreciatively. When the Zephyrian deployed his monomolecular wire weapons, the human somehow produced a pair of what he called practice batons that could deflect them. "You came prepared," Kethvar panted, his enhanced physiology finally beginning to show signs of strain. "Boy Scout motto, Chen replied cheerfully, not even breathing hard. Always be prepared, though I have to admit I was hoping you'd have some new moves to show me. The last Zephyrian I fought on Proxima had this interesting grappling technique. Kethvar's world went dark as Chen's baton found exactly the right pressure point to induce unconsciousness without permanent damage. When he awakened, he was sitting in Chen's desk chair with a cup of what smelled like Terran coffee, cooling beside him. The human was at his personal terminal typing rapidly. "Ah, you're up. Excellent timing." Chen turned to face him, that same unsettling smile in place. "I was just finishing my report to the Galactic Senate about tonight's unauthorized visit. Amazing how much evidence of Zephyrian political interference a person can gather when they have 17 minutes to search someone's equipment." Kethvar's blood went cold. His mission gear contained communication logs, target profiles, payment authorizations, everything needed to prove the High Council's violation of the Galactic Assassination Accords. "Of course," Chen continued conversationally, "I could always file an amended report. Something about a cultural exchange between warriors. A friendly sparring match between species, fostering understanding and cooperation." The human leaned forward, and for the first time, Kethvar saw something genuinely dangerous in those deceptively soft eyes. "Your choice, Kethvar. Do you want to be the assassin who failed to kill a human diplomat, or the cultural ambassador who helped establish the first interspecies martial arts exchange program?" 3 hours later, Kethvar found himself in a shuttle back to Zephyrian space, carrying documents that would establish formal combat sports leagues between their peoples. The High Council would be furious, but they could hardly execute their greatest assassin for accidentally creating a cultural phenomenon. Behind him on the station, Ambassador Marcus Chen was already drafting legislation for the Galactic Senate. Something about standardizing combat sports regulations across all member species. After all, humans had always been excellent at turning their hobbies into everyone else's problems. And somewhere in the back of his mind, Kethvar found himself looking forward to the rematch.